Orban and the discovery of the green pipe. It was a dreary afternoon, and the rain tapped relentlessly on the window. Orban sat in his room, bored with his toys. He built with blocks for a while, but nothing seemed fun. His gaze wandered to the small crawlspace door under the slanted wall. He'd seen it many times before, but today something about it seemed different. A faint humming sound came from behind the door, accompanied by a warm, slightly sweet breeze. Orban hesitated. Normally the space behind the door was just a dusty, cramped area full of old junk. There were fans and the portable air conditioner his dad used in the summer and stored there for the rest of the year. But today something felt different. "I have to check this out," Orban murmured as he crawled toward the door. With his heart pounding, he opened it. As expected, it was dirty and dusty, but in the distance a green light shimmered. He'd never seen anything like that before. Curious, he crawled in, stirring up a small cloud of dust. The closer he got to the light, the brighter it became, until he finally found himself in front of a large green pipe. It rose straight out of the ground, glowing softly as if inviting him in. Orban couldn't believe his eyes. "This looks just like Mario Land," he whispered. He leaned in to take a closer look, when suddenly a strong pull grabbed him. "What's happening?" Orban shouted, but before he could react, he was sucked into the pipe. It felt like sliding down a smooth water slide that twisted and turned in the dark. The walls of the pipe glimmered faintly, and the green light surrounded him as he went deeper and deeper. After what felt like forever, Orban landed gently on a soft surface. Blinking, he looked around. It was dark, but glowing mushrooms grew along the smooth wooden walls, casting a golden light. Orban realized he was inside a massive hollow tree. The tall, curved walls stretched high above him, and in the center of the space was a small wooden door with a shiny golden handle. "Where does this lead?" Orban wondered aloud as he approached the door. He slowly turned the handle, and when the door swung open, the sight before him took his breath away. A vast green meadow stretched out under the bright sun, dotted with colorful flowers. Giant red and white mushrooms stood like little trees amidst the grass, and in the distance a magnificent castle with golden spires sparkled on the horizon. The air smelled of freshly cut grass and sweet flowers, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves of nearby trees. "This is really Mario Land!" Orban exclaimed in awe. He stepped out onto the meadow and felt the soft grass beneath his feet. Around him, bees buzzed and butterflies flitted through the air. Everything was so vibrant, so alive, that Orban had to blink to make sure he wasn't dreaming. He wandered across the meadow and spotted something familiar, a yellow block with a question mark on it. "Does that actually work?" he asked himself. Tentatively he jumped and hit the block with his hand. With a cheerful pling, a golden coin popped out and landed in front of him. Orban picked it up and grinned. "This is amazing!" As he continued exploring, he discovered more things from the games, hopping Goombas waddling along a path and shiny red Koopa shells lying in the grass. Everything was peaceful and beautiful. Orban felt like he had stepped into a whole new world. But as the sun began to sink lower in the sky, he realized he had no idea how to get back home. "How do I leave?" he wondered, a small twinge of worry creeping in. Then he remembered the large tree he had come from. Maybe that was the way back. He ran across the meadow, jumping over flowers and carefully avoiding a group of Goombas. When he reached the tree, the small door was still open, and golden light poured out from inside. "This has to be it," Orban said as he stepped in. As soon as he entered, the ground began to tremble slightly. A gentle humming filled the space, and before he knew it, he was being pulled upward. The sensation was like flying. He closed his eyes and let the force carry him upward, until finally he landed softly back in the crawlspace behind the small door in his room. The green pipe was still there, exactly where he had found it. Orban brushed his fingers along its edge and smiled. "That was the best adventure ever," he whispered, as he crawled back into his room. He was certain of one thing: the portal to Mario Land was still there, waiting for his next adventure.